So today I have to show you a flute that I've owned for 30 years. It's one of my two favorite flutes. This is my 2.0, and it's 2.0 shaku's long. Shaku's this long. A 1.8 shaku, well, that would be 0.8 shorter. That would be this. So this is a flute tuned in C, like the bansuri or the Western silver flute. And this is the Japanese Shakuhachi, so it's got the pentatonic scale. It's used for meditation primarily, and there are a lot of traditional meditation pieces that ask you to play the 2.0, and I thought I'd get one for the deeper, richer sound you get in the longer flutes. And this one has it in spades. It has an airy, kind of rich, velvety tone that's really rare. I haven't seen anything like that. My teacher really admired this flute, and I hunted it down in New York, and I bought it from a person who bought it from somebody in England. This is the flute made by Shundo, and his hunko, his stamp, is on the back. There are bindings along it that are flush. That means that these rattan coverings are carved into the wood, so the real binding, which is monofilament plastic like fishing line, is really hidden under there. But something that's not hidden and very pretty is a silver butterfly, and this was used in the old days. It was a matter of style almost more than function, because bamboo wants to split this way, long all the way down. So to keep it from spreading, if you had a dovetail flaring, it would hold it together. In theory, it didn't always work so well, and it fell into disuse. But maybe because it really takes a lot of skill to fit something that small and precise in there tightly. And in fact, that's done with every shakuhachi. At the top here, this is a piece of, is it buffalo horn? Black ones are usually buffalo horn, and that's a nice detail. It creates a sharp blowing edge that really never wears out, but you must be very careful and have a cap on it at all times. In this case, somebody maybe left this flute unattended with a cap on it. Over the years, it left a ring right around here. See, in New York, we have to keep them away from the dryness of the winter apartments. Not so easy. But in Japan, you can literally leave them out for years on the table. That's what happened with this one. When I bought it, it was on the bottom here was the color of these straw mats. It was very unusual because when you flipped it over, it was kind of a dusty brown on the top. It wasn't very attractive, but I bought it for the sound. And it's very playable. So you can move quickly around it, and you can move quickly around on it because the holes are relatively close together on a 2.0. On a longer flute, you've got to have your fingers are spread out. It's a little harder, maybe it's a little more awkward. So this is just a nice balance between the normal standard D flute we use for most shakuhachi playing and the longer sizes. So this Shundo is something I'm very fond of, and has taken a character of my playing in a way, because of course it's got the finger marks from the middle finger here. Now these are the guard fingers. They don't do anything except hold the flute down and maybe create a dark spot over a few decades. That actually adds charm. It adds something called wabi-sabi, which is a character of relaxed just use that adds charm and a little melancholy. I mean, this has been through some tough times. It's cracked several times. It even cracked while I owned it. You can't tell that these are new, but I did these maybe 10 years ago. So this one also has a nice feeling of the bamboo tree and the root here. The roots are coming out right above the ball. When it's harvested, they pull it out, they cut it off, put it in storage. First they dry it out over an open fire, put it in storage and hope that it won't crack over the next few winters. And then if it doesn't, it gets to be made into a flute. And this is made into a flute by drilling relatively small holes, which lets the quality of the bamboo really sing, because it's vibrating in a way that's internal. The sound, you know, that's the bore here. This is the bore, the hole. It's tapered all the way down towards the bottom. And by keeping all these holes small, it resonates the entire flute. In fact, there are pressure points. If you actually look at this, you know, what's a third? Well, a third, or what's an octave? Well, an octave is halfway, a wave that you play twice as loud, and it vibrates right in the center. right in the center I've got a wood joint. This was made in 2 halves. But that wood joint is solid. That means when you play the whole flute, you get a loud sound. It's reinforced because it's solid here, and it's actually thicker at the top. It goes thick, thin. But what happens when you play a third? It's a naturally occurring, frequency, right? When the wave is halfway and then it goes 1/3 of the way. There happens to be a node here and here. And so the wave form is reinforced at a special spot. Well, then what if you played a fifth? That would be reinforced here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wouldn't you know that 1/5 of the way up the bamboo it's reinforced? Also, 1/5 of the way, approximately in the middle. So these natural waveforms, when they're built into when they occur in a shakuhachi, it's very interesting, because if somebody was going to the forest, they'd look and say that would be a nice flute, because they look at how these notes are spaced. They get it home and they say, I'm going to make that's going to be a 2.0, or that's going to be a 2.2. Whether they decide, based on the placement of the nodes, what would be the best size to cut that flute to. So when you do that, you get something that's far superior acoustically than, say, a solid block of wood, maple or cherry, that you turn on a lathe and you carve it into this shape. What you have going on in a shakuhachi is the density of the flute is actually changing. If I tap on it, it's solid. Here it's looser. It's harder here. It's harder here, harder here, and harder here. The waves are interacting with the spacing of these nodes. So this is the 2.0 Shundo for Japanese Honkyoku music, which is music that's written for the flute. So keep in mind that, of course, you can play any music on the shakuhachi, but it has 5 holes for Japanese music, and it has a repertoire of just generations of people who have played, interpreted, reinterpreted, passed along to their students the quality, the spirit of that piece, and the spirit of playing the shakuhachi. So why not follow the tradition of Japanese shakuhachi playing instead of noodling around or trying to play something that could be better played on other instruments? So this is the 2.0 shakuhachi.